be with you this morning. All right. First of all, just for a couple of minutes, does anybody have from last week, the training from last week's coffee chat about optimizing our surroundings, staying out of that reactive brain and in our thinking brain, using stop, challenge, and choose? Does anyone have any wins based on that from last week? Yes.
I'm Andrea. I think
Andrea, thank you. I was going to say A. Wilkins. Hey, Andrea.
I've got to change that. Hi, nice to meet you. But yes, for me, I think I was watching Renee Roch, I think is how you say it. And she was talking about the fact that, she traveled and she thought she was staying on course, and that she did find that a few little extras was sneaking in, and how it made the following week a little harder. And I was experiencing the same. And so this week, the Stop, Challenge, Choose was really my lean on pillar for me. It's like, okay, is it going to get me to my goal, or is it going to slow me down? And I had to take that thought, because Teacher Appreciation Week, I was given cookies and my favorite candy bars and everything. So it was like, okay, let's stop. Okay, if I share this among 3 other people, then I don't eat as much, or I don't eat any of it, and I'm safe. And so Stop, Challenge, and Choose was really big for me this week, to get right back on track and back in the focus.
Very good. Why is it that we only show appreciation with food, right?
Yeah, I know. As they say, feed them, they will come.
That is so true. Yes.
Well, I think, if you don't mind, I'll go. I just want to address the food thing. I think that, we have options to, for instance, drink alcohol or not drink alcohol. We have a choice to drink water versus soda. We have these choices. But when it comes to food, we don't really, we get a choice on what we put in our bodies, but we have to eat food. Like it's our survival. So I think that's why it becomes so complicated. But I love the Stop, Challenge, and Choose, because it really goes back to that, you get this stimulus, and between stimulus and response, we have this thing called space and time. And to just like embrace and hold space for that space and time, it's like, it's so empowering, even in our emotional intelligence too. And that's where I really apply Stop, Challenge, and Choose this last week. I've had a number of situations, and, I just like remind myself, you got space and time. You don't have to react to this. You can take as long as you want. And it's wow. Wow. It's really changing things for me. So.
Very good. Very good. Okay, well, let's dive in to this week's training. I am going to hopefully share my screen. Yes. Everyone seeing this? All right, very good. How grateful are we for Dr. A's life book? The resources that are there are just amazing. And this week we are talking about element 6, your path to a healthy weight. Obviously, that's why most of us came to Optavia, and that is the goal that we have in the forefront of our minds, but there's so much more to it. 45 million people in the United States diet every year, and 85% of those people gain back all their weight plus more within 2 years. How depressing is that? And how many of us have experienced that over and over again? The only habit we create is the habit of dieting over and over and over again. And as we know, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again without changing anything. So thankfully we have Optavia, and now we know a better way. And just very quickly, this is going to be our agenda for the morning. that we are going to dive into mindset, understanding the difference between dieting versus creating a healthy weight, and then using body mass index and waist circumference to assess where we are currently, and then taking action steps to structure a plan to getting to healthy weight. Dr. A has given us this quote: "How do you create a healthy weight? The answer is embedded in the question. You create a healthy weight. It doesn't magically happen. We create it. In fact, the creative process will be at the center of the key aspects of your transformation." All right. Oops, are you seeing the strip of participants on the right-hand side, or is it okay. I didn't want things to be in the way of the screen. Okay, with mindset, again, with Optavia, we are not on a diet, right? We are changing our habits to create that healthy lifestyle that's leading to lifelong healthy weight. This is on page 155 in the Life book. This is a great tool for us. It's so simple to find out where we are. This is the body mass index chart. So easy to find out based on your height and your current weight, whether you are within a healthy body mass index. And as you can see there, a healthy body mass index is less than 25. Optimal is 24.9. And so we aren't going to take the time to do this right now, but as I said, it's in your Life book here on page 155. So you can figure out where you are, whether you're in that healthy body mass index currently. Maybe you have been, and like me, recently it slipped up a little bit and it's time to bring it back on down. And then combined with waist circumference, these two are key tools in accurately determining whether we are at that healthy weight. As Dr. A says, there is no such thing as big boned. A lot of us used that excuse when we were overweight, that, well, yeah, I'm not at the healthy body mass index, but I'm big boned, right? This shows us that bones don't enter into healthy weight, because if you're measuring here at your waist circumference, there aren't any bones in the way. You put that tape measure just above your hip bones, not necessarily at the natural waist, but just above your hip bones. And this evaluates how much visceral fat you have. That is, visceral fat is the fat that stays around your organs. And this is a good indicator of whether extra fat will cause health challenges in your future. So this is an important one. Your health is at risk if you're a man and your waist circumference is over 37 inches. And if you're a woman and your waist circumference is above 31.5 inches. So between the body mass index chart and the waist circumference, that's how we determine if we are at a healthy weight. And this is also in the Life book, page 156. Okay. This chart is in the Habits of Health book on page 154. And this is our weight management phase. If you are on a weight loss journey, well, actually, even if you're not, because as you see the final phases there, the phase 3 and 4, talk about our weight after we've reached that healthy weight. So currently, if you are on your weight loss journey, you are in probably phase 1, heading for phase 2, which is that healthy weight, where your body mass index is less than 25. Your body fat if you're a man, should be 18%. And if you're a woman, 25% or less. And then again, that waist circumference, 37 for a man and 31.5 for a woman. And then you would go into transition or optimization, phase 3, where we stay at that healthy weight and keep working on those macro habits. And if you have already done that, here's something to consider. Phase 4 is a great thing to strive for, and that is longevity. That is where your body mass index is between 21 and 24.9%. Waist circumference in men is 32 inches or less, and for women, 29 inches or less. And then body fat content, 12% for men, or between 17 and 22% for women. It's just a decision that you make, whether you want to go for that additional push towards longevity. And longevity sounds pretty good, doesn't it? So these are the tools that we have been given to assess where we are currently and what we would like to strive for. So I like everybody, if you would, to take out a sheet of paper and write down your current reality. Just take a couple of minutes, write down your current reality, where you are currently on this journey. Do you know what your body mass index is right now? If you have your life book handy, again, it is on page 155. So figure out that body mass index, and when was the last time you measured your waist? Do you know that waist circumference? And then body fat content is optional. Some of us don't have a way to measure that. If you have a digital scale and an app on your phone, those numbers are often included in that. So that's one way to figure that out. But go ahead and, oh, I see Cheryl is measuring right now. Look at that. Awesome, Cheryl. Right above those hip bones, yes. Love it. Okay, so everybody got their current reality? Good job, Cheryl. Okay, then we're gonna move on. And here's where you go from there. We've talked about structural tension in one of our previous weeks. And this is where you fill in your current reality at the top and be as specific and detailed as you can be. You'll see there on the chart what they have written. They don't just say need to lose weight. It says, you know, overweight and specifically how much they weigh currently. Further reality is muffin top, waist circumference of 35 inches. And then, so write down your current reality in detail and specifically. And then you see where it says secondary choices. That's where you're going to write down the steps that it's going to take to get you to the third one, which is the desired result. Okay, so for us, obviously, 6 small meals a day, eating breakfast within 30 to 60 minutes after waking up, low glycemic carbs only, staying on plan, lean and green, drinking that water, all those great habits of health that we learned through this program. If you have other things that you, from the macro habits that you are focusing on, go ahead and put those in there. And then that desired result, get that really clear in your mind and put down details there as well. Number one should be healthy for all of us, right? Getting specific on the weight and the waist circumference that you're looking for. And I would even go beyond that. What other non-scale victories would be included in that? For a lot of people, they talk about getting down on the floor with grandkids or being able to run a marathon or whatever it is. Go ahead and put those things in there. And this is a great thing to keep on your refrigerator if you're that bold, on your bathroom mirror. Keep it in front of you every day. Just kind of like a vision board. Keeping those goals right there at the forefront so that we don't forget about them. Okay, everybody got that? All right. So there are 3 key points in creating a healthy weight. First is our focus. If we don't have something in the forefront of our minds, we don't work on it, right? And the focus being on building health, not a specific number on the scale. If we're focusing on that number on the scale, we're in that diet mentality, and we all know what happens with diets. We're going to gain it back. So building health is the key. And then using that structural tension chart to move to a healthy weight. And here's the important part, learning a series of new habits, which will create new behaviors. Instead of just the habit of dieting over and over again, those new habits that are going to create new behaviors that lead to that lifelong change. So this week, it's not difficult. It's pretty straightforward. It's just actually going through the process, keeping that in front of us. And we all know with the tools that we've been given with this program, the healthy weight just happens. But what happens after that is really in our mindset and in our focus. So keeping this in front of us is the key, and following through on those new habits. So on that vein, who wants to share what action they are going to take as a result of this element today? If you have found something through this that is something you would like to focus on over the next week or two, what action step are you going to take? Gretchen.
I want to thank Brenda about that scale. I've always wanted to keep a track of my body fat and MBI, and for that scale to do all that, that is just like 3 thumbs up. I only have 2, but I'm putting 3 up with my tongue. So I'm definitely going to be getting that, because that's a good thing to keep up with your body fat and your MBI. So thanks, Brenda. Appreciate you.
You bet. Hey, so Renee posted it in the Transformational Living. I think it was just yesterday, and it's on sale for $15. She posted the link in there. I use this, well, let's see here. So not that you need to look at my numbers, but I weigh myself usually weekly. I'm in optimal health and going after longevity or new goals, but I hadn't used my app. I've been just staying at the same weight, but so in February, I weighed myself, and I weighed myself today, and I was exact same weight. And so I'm learning the keys, and I did write down my current reality is that I'm staying at goal weight. I'm adding strength and endurance, and really working on all the secondary choices of continuing to fuel my body well. Having 3 meals a day, healthy, lean and green meals, and then having my 3 snacks. And sometimes I need more than that because I'm training for a triathlon. So
Wow.
that's my desired result is to feel fit and enjoy the triathlon and not feel like I didn't train well. So, yeah.
That's great, Brenda. Well done. Looks like it's cold in Minnesota.
Oh my goodness. It's warming up. It's been, yeah, the sun's going to be out today and this weekend's going to be beautiful. So,
Good.
yeah.
Anyone else?
I'd like to share, Darleen. I think sometimes, this week's been a little crazy for us in a wonderful way. We had our little grandson born this week. But after a lot of distractions, wonderful distractions, but just being really busy and having a 2.5-year-old, which I haven't had in my home full time for 3 days in a long time. I know now why we don't have kids in our 50s. But after, a long week of not much sleep, not staying on with our fueling whenever we need them, and skipping meals, not getting all the water in, I woke up this morning, I thought, oh, I'm so thankful that we have the tools in place to know how to jump right back on and start feeling better again. And I think sometimes when we look at these different steps, over time, we might gain a few pounds. And I know that for me, I got to a really healthy BMI. And then over the past couple months and the past couple weeks, you'll see that weight start to go up. And it's really nice to know, okay, I might be up 4 or 5 pounds from where I want to be, but I'm still in my healthy BMI. But I have to refocus and I have to really put all of the habits that we've learned back into place and step back into getting all my water in, getting my sleep in, which we were really lacking this week. And, it's nice to know that we've already instilled a lot of these habits and we can go back on them at any time, and how important that they really are to feeling better and reaching that optimal health. So I'm very thankful for what we are learning in this program, for sure.
Absolutely. Yes. I mentioned earlier that I've gone up a couple of pounds recently, and focusing on this element, I went and looked at my figures on my scale and checked out body fat content. That's not something that I've focused on before. And wow, that tells, a few pounds, and you don't get too concerned about that. But that body fat content really tells a different story. So that's something that I'm going to be focusing on with structural tension. Yes. And probably getting out the tape measure again, because that's something I've gotten away from since I'm in optimization. Cheryl, can I borrow yours?
I just keep a dressmaker's tape in here. But I don't measure like that. And I just want to say, like, the scale is really a valuable tool as well as the tape measure. But for me, it's mostly like, how are my clothes fitting? We notice that right away, like, ooh, that's a little tight right there. And then I believe in, for me, this journey is not so much about what's on the outside as it is so much about what we're doing with taking care of this vessel that houses our soul, right? And so we want to take care of those internal organs, because those are the things, if we're not, fueling them well, that will lead to that diseased state that Dr. A talks about all the time. And so for me, it's about taking care of my engine. But I use my mirror. I don't know, I'm just in this camper, so there's mirrors everywhere. I guess that's a way to make it feel bigger. But there's mirrors everywhere, so I'm always seeing myself, my reflection. And it's like, oh, well, better not grab those little candies that my mom has at her house. You grab 2 and you think, oh, it's harmless, but so it helps me stay in check with that. But I love that Arbo leaf scale that Renee, she had put that up on our coach's page a long time ago. I bought one right away, and I do love it. It's a fantastic way to kind of track your medics, and so anyway, yeah. Use it all together as a package to kind of figure out what's right for you as an individual. Is what I guess I'm saying.
My scale is very similar to the Arbo leaf, but it is a Fit Index scale. And I actually recently bought a Fit Index tape measure that connects to my app, and that records my measurements as well, which when I use it, that's very helpful. Doesn't help if it sits in a drawer. Okay. Anyone else? Or I'll open it up also. We have just a couple of more minutes left, but does anyone have any wins for over the past week that may not necessarily relate to this element or last element, but something you'd like to celebrate? Gretchen.
Secret. My husband's joining.
Oh, yay! That is great. That is great.
It starts on Monday.
That's a great celebration.
I'm so excited because now we can focus on one way instead of me pulling and him trying to pull me this way. I'm like, yes, we both on our yes.
That's wonderful.
So excited. I'm so excited.
Anyone else? Just a minute or two.
Shelley, come on, tell them.
I had to figure out how to unmute. But anyway, I have lost 22.4 pounds and I'm down from a size large t-shirt for work to a medium.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
And she's going to have to do some bra shopping soon.
Well, I am. That is true.
Congratulations, my friend. You're doing amazing.
Thank you.
Absolutely. All right. Well, the clock is saying that it is 9 o'clock, so I don't want to keep you. But thank you so much for joining us this morning. Next week, it'll be element 7. That wonderful word that I had never heard before starting the program, leptogenic. If you're not sure what that is, read element 7 this week. All right. Thank you all. Have a great week. Bye.